Nolan's mother's dining room smells like rosemary and lemon polish, clean, sharp, almost smug. Laughter bounces off the china cabinet as Nolan leans back, arms stretched along his chair like he owns the air. Honestly, he says, chuckling, Mar is basically just a babysitter with a ring. Heat floods my face. My fingers clamp around my water glass until it sweats against my skin. I keep smiling because that's what I do here. Smile, swallow, survive. Then Lily's chair scrapes. Slow, deliberate. She stands, tiny shoulders squared, eyes locked on her father. I already called your boss. Nolan's smile stutters. His brother stops chewing. His mother's fork hangs midair. Mara! Nolan breathes, warning threaded through my name. And Lily's phone starts ringing. The ringtone keeps going. Bright, cheery, wrong for a room that just turned to stone. My throat tightens like something invisible has wrapped around it. I can taste metal, like I bit my tongue without realizing. I stare at Lily's small hand hovering over her phone, her fingers steady in a way mine never are in this house. I'm Mara, 30, a mom. A woman who used to wear blazers that smelled like dry cleaner starch and coffee. Who used to walk into meetings and feel her own name means something. Then, family first happened the way a net happens. Soft at first, almost kind, and then suddenly you can't move without it cutting into your skin. Nolan clears his throat, that little sound he makes when he's about to fix a story, his version, the one where he's the golden boy. Perfect husband, patient father, the guy everyone at work claps on the back and calls dependable. He lives for that shine. He feeds on it. The idea of anyone touching it makes his eyes go flat. Around the table, his family's smiles don't know what to do. They've always loved laughing at me. It's safe to laugh at the quiet one, the one who refills glasses, the one who pretends the jokes don't bruise. But this isn't me snapping. This is my daughter looking at the truth like it's a math problem and refusing to accept the wrong answer. If you're listening right now, tell me, where are you hearing this from? What part of the world has rooms like this, tables like this, laughter that cuts? And if you've ever been the person swallowing words just to keep the peace, stay with me. Because every week, there's a story where the truth finally gets air. The phone rings again. Nolan's jaw flexes. He darts a glance at me like I'm the one holding the knife. And all I can think is, how did Lily even know who to call? The phone stops ringing. Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it keeps ringing in some other room, in some other version of my life where I'm braver, where my hands don't shake when a man says my name like it's a leash. Here, in this dining room, the air goes thick. Nolan's mother, Janice, sets her fork down with a tiny click, like she's placing a gavel. The sound hits my nerves anyway. My body has learned to listen for small noises, the click of a belt buckle, the sigh before a comment, the quiet before the storm. Nolan smiles again. It isn't the same smile. It's a mask being forced back into place with sore fingers. His eyes flash once at Lily, sharp, warning, quick enough that anyone else could miss it. I don't. I never miss it. Because I'm Mara, and my whole existence has become reading micro-weather. Pressure changes, wind shifts, the way Nolan's shoulders sit when he's in a good mood versus when he's collecting reasons to punish me later. My water glass is still trapped in my grip. Condensation slicks the outside. My palm is damp. I can feel my pulse in the base of my thumb, beating against the glass like it wants out. Lily's standing, 10 years old, skinny legs in leggings with tiny moons printed down the sides. Hair pulled into a ponytail she did herself. She looks too small for the weight she's holding, but her face is steady. Old eyes. That's what my mother used to call them when Lily was a toddler, when she'd stare at people like she was solving them, like she could see the strings behind their smiles. Across the table, Nolan's brother, Tate, finally swallows. It's loud in the quiet. His Adam's apple jumps. He gives a little laugh that dies halfway out of his mouth, like a balloon losing air. Kids, he mutters, like that explains anything. Janice's gaze slides to me. Not to Lily. To me. Because in their world, children don't do things on their own. Children are extensions, tools, evidence of how well a mother is behaving. Her eyes skim my face, my posture, the tight line of my mouth. Lily, she says gently. Too gently. It's the same tone she uses when she tells me she doesn't mean to criticize right before she does. Sweetheart, sit down. We're eating. Lily doesn't move. Nolan's father, Rick, clears his throat. He has the kind of quiet that fills a room without words. He doesn't often speak up, but when he does, everyone adjusts. He looks at Nolan, then at Lily, then back at Nolan, and the silence is a question. Nolan finally reaches for his napkin. He dabs at the corner of his mouth like he's on camera, like someone might be watching, like he can still steer this. Lily, he says, voice soft, performatively soft. Why don't you go wash your hands again, HM? You touched the dog earlier, then we'll talk about whatever this is. Whatever this is. My stomach rolls. The phrase lands in me like a shove. It's how he makes things small. How he turns fear into a minor inconvenience. Whatever this is, Mara being oversensitive again. Whatever this is, Lily acting up because Mara fills her head. I feel bile rise, hot, bitter, up the back of my throat. I swallow it down. The motion hurts. My jaw aches from how hard I've been holding it closed. Lily's fingers curl around her phone. She doesn't look at me. She keeps looking at Nolan. I wash them, she says, quiet, factual, like she's reading a line from a workbook. And I'm not going anywhere. Nolan's nostrils flare. My breath catches. There it is, that tiny, involuntary crack in his charm. His cologne hangs around him, expensive, smoky, too sweet. He wore extra today. I smelled it the second we walked in, like he'd sprayed it not for me, but for the room, for his family, for the story he likes telling about himself. Nolan is always building a version of Nolan, and I am always being edited out of it. I remember when that didn't used to be my life. I remember being 26 and standing in an elevator with a laptop bag digging into my shoulder, coffee sloshing in a paper cup, hair pinned up in a messy bun because I'd run out of time. I remember the fluorescent hum of my office, the way the air smelled like printer toner and peppermint gum. I remember the rush of presenting an idea and watching people nod, seeing my own thoughts land in other minds like sparks. Back then, Nolan would text me, proud of you. He used exclamation points. He opened doors. He asked about my day. He laughed at my stupid jokes. He made me feel chosen. Then Lily happened. Lily happened like sunlight. Like the first day of real spring after a long winter. I held her in the hospital and cried until my chest hurt. Nolan cried too. Big dramatic tears that made the nurses call him sweet. He kissed my forehead. He told me I was incredible. He told me, we'll do this together. And when my maternity leave was almost over, when I was counting days on a calendar and feeling that mix of guilt and relief, Nolan sat me down at our kitchen table, our old kitchen table, before the remodel he insisted on for resale value. His hands covered mine, warm, firm. Why rush back? He said. We don't have to put her in daycare. You can stay home for a little, just for now, family first. Just for now. Temporary. He said it like a gift. He framed it like love. And I believed him because I wanted to. Because I was tired. Because I was hormonal. Because Lily's soft breathing at night made me feel like nothing else mattered. So I paused my career. I told my boss I'd return later. I said, it's temporary. I remember the exact moment temporary became a weapon. It was a Tuesday. Rain streaking the windows. Lily was colicky and I hadn't slept. I asked Nolan if he could pick up diapers on the way home because I'd run out, because I'd been too busy surviving to do a proper grocery list. He came in late, smelling like his cologne and some Bar's fryer oil. He dropped his keys onto the counter like he was tossing down a burden. Diapers, he said, eyebrows raised. What have you been doing all day? My mouth opened. Closed. I looked down at Lily's tiny face, red from crying, and my heart clenched with rage and shame at the same time. I started. You're home, he said, already moving past me. This is literally your job now. The words sank into my skin like cold water. Your job now. And after that, everything became conditional. His help came with price tags. If he did dishes, he'd mention it 3 times. If he took Lily for an hour, he'd sigh loud enough for me to feel guilty from across the room. He'd say, "Must be nice," when I sat down, even if I was sitting down because my knees were shaking from exhaustion. He started critiquing things. Not big things, little things that added up until my confidence looked like crumbs. "Why do you buy this brand? It's more expensive. Why is Lily watching that? It's too loud. Why are you talking to her like that? You're making her soft. Why are you wearing that? You look tired. Why can't you be more upbeat?" Upbeat. Like my feelings were a playlist he could skip. Money became his favorite lever. We had a joint account, but Nolan treated it like a stage. He liked the appearance of shared life. He liked telling people, "We're a team." But the minute I spent something he didn't approve of, new shoes for Lily, a sweater for myself, a birthday gift for my sister, his phone would buzz and he'd look at me over the top of it. That look. Like I'd stolen. Like I'd proven something. "What's this charge?" he'd ask, voice calm, dangerous calm. The first time, I laughed because I thought he was joking. He wasn't. After a while, I stopped buying anything for myself unless it was on sale. Unless it could be justified, unless it could be defended in court. I learned to defend my existence in my own home. Nolan didn't hit me, not like that, but he had a way of making the air in a room feel unsafe. He'd stand too close when he was angry, crowding my space like he was daring my body to flinch so he could call me dramatic. He'd slam a cabinet door by accident. He'd sigh and mutter things under his breath, just loud enough for me to hear, just soft enough to deny later. "You're impossible. You're exhausting. Sometimes I don't even recognize you." And then, when company came, he'd transform. He'd open wine. He'd kiss my cheek. He'd tell people I was an amazing mom. He'd say, "Mara keeps this whole house running." Like it was praise, like it was a medal. People would smile at me. I would smile back. My face would ache from holding it. Because that's the other thing. Nolan is charming in public. He makes jokes. He is light. He is the guy who helps carry dishes and says, "Let me, sweetheart." And everyone goes, "Ah." And if I ever look like I'm not grateful, I become the villain. His family loves that version of him. Janice especially. Janice is polished cruelty wrapped in pearl earrings. She doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't have to. Her judgments come out with soft smiles and careful words. "Oh, Mara," she'll say, sipping tea. "You look different. You should take care of yourself. Nolan works so hard." Or, "Lily's so bright. Thank goodness she takes after Nolan." Or, "It's just a shame you didn't keep up with your career. It's hard to respect a woman who doesn't contribute." Contribute. Like I don't wake up with my spine already tense. Like I don't keep a tiny human alive and fed and loved and safe. Tate is worse in a different way. Loud, teasing. The kind of man who hides insults inside laughter, so if you protest, you sound humorless. "Careful," he'll tell Nolan, grinning. "Mara might spend your bonus on candles again." And Nolan will laugh. Always laugh. Then there's Nolan's sister Paige, who watches like she's always comparing. Her nails are always done. Her clothes always perfect. She'll look at my thrift store jeans and my tired eyes and tilt her head like I'm a puzzle she already solved. "Motherhood suits some women," she'll say. "Some women just aren't built for ambition." Built like I'm a chair. I used to nod. I used to let it slide. Because fighting back in that house feels like stepping onto ice with thin cracks. You can do it, sure. For a second. Until you hear the sound of it splitting. The first time Lily noticed, she was 7. We were in our living room after one of these lunches. Nolan had been holding court, telling stories, painting himself as the hero of every scene. I'd been passing plates, wiping spills, smoothing everything over, smiling. When we got home, Lily followed me into the kitchen. She stood by the pantry door, twisting her shirt hem between her fingers. "Mom," she said. Small voice. Careful voice. I looked up from the sink. My hands were in soapy water. The sponge felt rough and slick at the same time. My shoulders hurt. "Yeah, baby?" She blinked at me, slow. Like she was deciding if she was allowed to ask. "Why does Dad get nicer when people visit?" The question hit me so hard I felt it in my teeth. I froze with my hands submerged, soap bubbles floating over my knuckles like little fragile lies. My mind raced. Answers, excuses, ways to protect her. He's just tired, I said automatically. Sometimes adults act different around people. Lily frowned. Her eyebrows pulled together in that same concentrated way she gets when she's doing puzzles, when she's looking for the piece that doesn't fit. But if he can be nice, she said, voice even softer. Why isn't he nice all the time? The sponge slid from my hand, plopped in the water. The sound was small. It still felt loud. I couldn't answer her. Because the truth was too big. Because the truth was, he chooses. He chooses when to be kind. He chooses when to perform. He chooses when to make me small. And I'd been swallowing it for years because I thought that was protection. Because I thought if I didn't poke the bear wouldn't wake up. But Lily had been watching. And kids. Kids don't just watch, they learn. Over time, Lily became quiet in a new way. Not shy, not afraid, just observant. Like she was cataloging. Like she was storing information in drawers in her head. She's always loved patterns. When she was little, she lined up her toy cars by color and size. She did puzzles way too fast for her age. She'd sit with her tongue tucked between her teeth, eyes narrowed, and snap pieces into place like she'd done it in another life. Now she does it with people. She remembers exact words, exact tones, exact days, and she started asking questions that made my skin prickle. What does HR mean? Why does Dad say brand a lot? What's a supervisor? What's an investigation? I would answer casually, like it didn't matter, while my stomach sank lower and lower. Because in our house, Nolan's job isn't just his job. It's his crown. He talks about it like it's proof that he's above everyone else. Proof that his opinions are worth more. Proof that he's entitled. When Nolan gets dressed for work, he changes. His posture straightens. His voice warms. He sprays cologne. He checks his teeth. He practices the smile that makes people trust him. I've watched him in the mirror. I've watched him become someone else. And then he'll turn to me and say, "Don't forget to transfer money to savings." Like he's leaving instructions for staff. Sometimes he kisses my forehead before he goes, and my skin crawls because it feels like a stamp. Like ownership. The buzz of his phone is constant. Emails, messages, calls. It vibrates on the counter like a nervous animal. Sometimes I can see his whole mood shift with one notification. His face tightens, his fingers move faster. He becomes sharp. And somehow, I always feel like it's my fault. Like I'm an inconvenience in the life he's building. A babysitter with a ring? The phrase echoes in my head now, mixing with the scent of lemon polish and roasting chicken. My stomach squeezes like a fist. At the table, Lily still hasn't sat down. Nolan finally reaches out, palm up. A gesture that looks gentle, until you know it. "Give me the phone, Lily," he says, still smiling. "This isn't appropriate." Lily's chin lifts a fraction. "No," she says. The word lands like a dropped plate. Janice inhales sharply. Paige's eyes widen. Tate gives a short, disbelieving laugh. "What the hell?" Tate mutters under his breath, like Lily is a dog that just spoke. My heart pounds. Hard. Fast. I can feel it in my throat now, like it's trying to climb out of me. I want to stand. I want to pull Lily back. I want to smooth this over. I want to make it safe. But I also want, so badly it hurts, to see what happens if I don't. Because Lily's doing something I haven't done in years. She's holding the line. Nolan's smile tightens again. His eyes flick to me, warning. My name sits on the tip of his tongue. I know that look. It says, "Fix this. Control your child. Don't embarrass me." I swallow. My mouth is dry despite the water in my hand. And then I notice it. The watch on Lily's wrist. A little pink smartwatch with a scuffed screen. She begged for it last year, said she wanted it for steps, for games, for timers. I thought it was harmless. I thought it was normal. But the way she shifts her wrist now, it's not fidgeting. It's positioning. The watch face angles toward Nolan, toward the table, toward the voices. A cold thread slides down my spine, slow and electric. My breath catches, because I've seen her do that before. In the car, when Nolan was ranting about ungrateful people and idiots and wasting his time, Lily sat in the back seat, quiet, wrists turned outward like she was just resting her arm on her backpack. In the kitchen, when Nolan criticized my grocery choices, Lily leaned against the counter, twisting her watch like she was playing with the strap. At first, I thought it was nothing. Now, staring at that tiny device on my daughter's wrist, I realized something I should have realized sooner. Lily hasn't been counting steps. She's been counting moments. And suddenly, I'm terrified. Not of Nolan's anger, not of his family's laughter, but of the fact that my 10-year-old has been living in the same careful, breath-held survival mode I thought I was hiding from her. My vision blurs. Not from tears yet, from pressure, from the weight of my own guilt pressing behind my eyes. Lily's gaze doesn't move from Nolan, and I understand with a strange, sick clarity that whatever she's about to do, she's been preparing for it longer than I have. The dining room clock ticks. Slow. Loud. Nolan leans forward, voice still soft, still performative. "Lily," he says like he's speaking to a skittish animal, "you're going to regret this." Lily's fingers tap her watch face once. A tiny movement. Almost nothing. But I feel it in my bones like thunder. Because the watch screen lights up for a second, and I catch a glimpse, just a flash, of a red dot in the corner. Recording. My stomach drops. My hands go numb around the glass, and my daughter, my quiet, puzzle-loving daughter, stands in the middle of Nolan's perfect family table like she's finally found the missing piece. Only this time, the piece is the truth. And it's sharp. The red dot on Lily's watch keeps glowing in my mind long after we leave that dining room. Because we do leave. Not dramatically. Not with plates shattering or doors slamming. We leave the way I've learned to do everything with Nolan. Carefully. Nolan laughs too loud, pats his father's shoulder, makes a joke about kids these days, and shepherds us out like he's rescuing everyone from a minor inconvenience. Lily walks beside me, small hand brushed against my coat sleeve, her steps even. Too even. Like she's counting them. Outside, the air is cold enough to make my lungs sting. The sky is low and gray, and the driveway gravel crunches under our shoes in sharp little snaps. Nolan's car beeps when he unlocks it. Cheerful again, wrong again. He waits until the door's shut. The moment the car becomes a sealed box, the temperature changes. Not the actual temperature, the feeling of it. Like the air thickens. Like oxygen becomes something you have to earn. Nolan doesn't start the engine right away. He just sits there, hands on the steering wheel, fingers flexing. His cologne fills the car, smoky, sweet, clinging. It mixes with the faint smell of fries from Lily's kids' meal, with the winter air trapped in our coats. He looks at me through the rearview mirror like I'm a reflection he doesn't like. "What was that?" he asks, voice low. Lily stares out the window. She doesn't blink. I feel my stomach twist into a tight knot, pulling inward like it's trying to hide behind my ribs. My mouth goes dry. My tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth when I try to speak. It was nothing, I say, because nothing has become my shield word. Nothing happened. Nothing's wrong. Nothing to see here. Nothing that will make him explode. Nolan's jaw shifts. He turns his head slightly toward Lily. "Lily," he says, too calm. "Why would you say something like that?" My daughter's voice comes out small but steady. "Because you keep making fun of Mom." Nolan laughs once, sharp, humorless. "I joke. That's what families do. We joke." Lily doesn't look at him. Not like that. Silence. Thick. Pressing. I can hear the tiny tick of the turn signal lever as Nolan's finger taps it without flipping it. Tap, tap, tap. A metronome for his anger. He finally starts the car. The engine turns over with a low growl. We pull away from his parents' house, past the trimmed hedges and perfect porch lights and the kind of windows that always look warm from the outside. Inside the car, my heart keeps hammering. Inside my head, I'm already bracing for the next thing. Because there is always a next thing. Nolan's family dinners aren't dinners, they're audits. Once a month, like clockwork, We show up at Janice and Rick's house, and I become a file they open. A list of shortcomings, a balance sheet of what Nolan puts up with. Every dinner is the same rhythm. Wine poured, compliments aimed at Nolan like arrows with soft tips, and then the little jabs at me that get sharper each time because no one stops them. Paige always arrives late, on purpose, sweeping in with the smell of expensive perfume and confidence. She'll set her phone down on the table, face up, screen lighting with notifications, and it's like she wants the room to know she's important. Crazy week, she'll say, dropping into her chair. They're fast-tracking me for another promotion. Janice will beam, Rick will nod, Tate will clap like a seal, and then Janice's eyes will drift toward me like a cursor moving to a weak spot. Mara, she'll say, voice sweet. You must be so grateful Nolan's able to provide while you focus on home. Focus on home. Like my life shrank because I lacked imagination, not because I was pulled. And Nolan will smile modestly like he's embarrassed by his own generosity. Mom, he'll say, Mara works hard, you know how it is. But then, always the twist of the knife. He'll glance at me and add, laughing, she couldn't handle a real job anymore, though. Too stressful. The first time he said it, my face went hot and my chest went hollow at the same time. I remember staring at my plate, watching a drop of gravy slide slowly toward the edge like it was trying to escape. I wanted to say, I didn't quit because I couldn't handle it. I quit because I believed him when he said family first. Because I believed him when he said we were a team. Because I was tired and lonely and new to motherhood and the world had narrowed into feedings and naps and his opinions. But I didn't say any of that. I smiled. The smile felt like my lips were cracking. Then Paige would laugh, the kind of laugh that says she's relieved it isn't her. Janice would tilt her head, sympathetic in a way that isn't sympathy, and murmur, it's such a shame. You had potential. Potential. Like I'm a canceled show. Sometimes Nolan's jokes change depending on who's watching. If Rick's golf buddies are there, Nolan gets louder, more man of the house. If Paige brings her boyfriend, Nolan plays the charming brother-in-law, giving relationship advice like he's a therapist. If Tate's friends are there, Nolan turns our marriage into a comedy routine. Good thing she's pretty, he'll say, nudging Tate. Keeps the peace. The room will roar, and I'll sit there with my spine straight, nails digging crescent moons into my palm under the table, feeling something inside me peel away, layer by layer. Swallowing words feels like swallowing glass. I can feel it scrape. I can feel it lodge. And every time I keep quiet, it's like I'm teaching Lily to do the same. To accept being the punchline. To accept that love is a stage where one person shines and the other person holds the props. At home, after those dinners, Nolan will turn his charm off like a light switch. He'll toss his keys onto the counter, loosen his tie, and exhale like I exhausted him. You see? He'll say, pouring himself a drink. My family loves you. You just need to lighten up. My skin will buzz with held-back rage, like electricity under it. He'll walk past me, brush my shoulder with his hand, too casual, and add, if you weren't so sensitive, things would be easier. Easier. Always my job to make life easier. The critiques follow me into every corner of our house. If Lily leaves a toy out, Nolan says it's because I'm not structured. If Lily gets a B on a test, Nolan says it's because I'm not pushing her enough. If Lily cries, Nolan says I'm raising a drama queen. I start hearing his voice in my own head. A constant commentary, a constant correction. Then, one evening, Nolan comes home with a printed spreadsheet. A real one. Not a casual conversation. Paper in his hands like he's about to present a case. He calls it a family budget meeting. He says it like he's doing us a favor. He spreads the papers across the kitchen table, the same table where he once held my hands and said, temporary. The overhead light is too bright, making everything look harsh. The crumbs, the scratches on the wood, the tired lines under my eyes in the dark window reflection. Lily is coloring at the far end of the table. I can hear her markers squeak across the paper. Nolan taps the spreadsheet with his finger. So, he says, I've been thinking. My stomach drops. It always drops when he says that. I'm the one earning, he continues. So I'm going to take over the accounts. Fully. It's just responsible. Fully. The word lands heavy. Final. My hands go cold. I rub my fingertips together under the table, trying to bring feeling back. We already? I start, but he cuts me off with a raised hand like I'm interrupting his lecture. You're not good with money, he says, voice smooth. You spend emotionally. I blink. My throat tightens. I can feel my heart beat in my ears, a soft roaring. I buy groceries, I whisper. He smiles like I'm adorable. Like I don't understand adult concepts. Exactly, he says. Groceries, household, kid stuff. That's what you handle. I'll handle the rest. Handle the rest. Like I'm being given a smaller cage inside the bigger one. I glance at Lily. She's not looking up, but her marker has stopped moving. Her little hand is still. Her shoulders are tight. Nolan keeps talking. Direct deposits, limits, allowances. An app he wants installed on my phone so I can request funds if I need something. Request. Like I'm 12. Like I'm not his partner. My cheeks burn so hard they feel numb. My stomach churns. I swallow and it feels like something sharp slides down my throat and sticks. I nod anyway, because what else do I do? Say no and trigger the storm? Say no and risk him turning his anger on Lily's ears again? I nod and my insides scream. That same week, Lily comes home from school with a worksheet in her backpack. Digital citizenship. She sits on the living room rug with her knees tucked up, reading out loud in a sing-song voice like she's trying to make it casual. Mom, she says, did you know you're supposed to tell a trusted adult if someone makes you uncomfortable? I sit on the couch, a basket of laundry beside me, a pile of socks that never seems to end. My fingers fold one sock, then another, trying to stay busy so my mind doesn't spiral. Yeah, I say carefully. That's right. She flips the page. The paper crinkles. And you're supposed to speak up safely. Like, not yell. Just say what happened. My chest tightens. It's subtle. It still hurts. Lily looks up at me. Her eyes are steady, curious, too serious for 10. What if the uncomfortable person is in your family? She asks. The laundry slips from my fingers. A sock falls onto the floor. I stare at it like it's a life raft. I can feel sweat prickling at the base of my neck. Sometimes, I say, choosing each word like it's a wire I might cut wrong. Families have complicated moments. Lily's face doesn't change. She doesn't accept that answer the way a child who wants comfort would. She's not asking for comfort. She's collecting data. That night, when Nolan is in the shower, I pass the hallway and hear his voice from our bedroom. The door is half closed. The sound is muffled, but not enough. He's on a call. His work voice is on, warm, laughing, confident. Yeah, he says, chuckling. I handle everything at home. Keeps me sharp, you know? Wife's a little dramatic sometimes, but I've got it. Dramatic. The word punches air out of my lungs. I stop walking. My bare feet sink into the carpet. The hallway light makes the walls look yellow and tired. I stand there listening, heart pounding so hard it makes my ribs ache. Nolan keeps going. She gets sensitive. You know how it is, but I'm the stable one. Stable. I press my fingers against my stomach like I can hold myself together. In the bathroom, the shower runs, a steady hiss like rain. Nolan's laughter floats over it, bright and effortless. I taste bitterness again. My mouth fills with it. I think of all the times I've apologized for having feelings, for needing rest, for wanting respect, for asking him not to make jokes at my expense. Dramatic. Stable. His words paint him as the hero of a story where I'm the problem. And the sickest part is, he's so good at it that people believe him. I back away from the door slowly, like any sudden movement might set off an alarm. My skin feels too tight over my bones. When I turn, Lily is standing at the end of the hallway. I don't know how long she's been there. Her face is blank, but her eyes, those old eyes, are watching me like she's watching a storm approach. She doesn't speak, she just looks. And in that look, I feel exposed. Not by Nolan, by my own child. By the fact that she sees more than I've admitted. By the fact that I've been trying to protect her from the truth while she's been standing in it. Later, in bed, After Nolan has fallen asleep beside me, one arm thrown over his head like he's carefree, I lie awake staring at the ceiling. The darkness feels heavy. The room smells like his cologne on the pillowcase, faint now but still there, like a stain that won't wash out. Lily pads into my room on quiet feet. She always has, since she was little. Nightmares, thirst, a bad dream about school. Tonight, she doesn't climb in. She stands by the door, hands clasped in front of her, shoulders squared like she rehearsed this in her head. "Mom," she whispers. My heart squeezes. "Yeah, baby." She steps closer. The hallway light behind her makes a thin glow around her hair. Her face is half shadow, half truth. She hesitates. They can hear her swallow. Then she asks, very softly, like she's asking for a spelling word, like she's asking something harmless. "Mom, what's Dad's company called exactly?" "Westbridge," I whisper back to Lily in the dark, like the name itself might wake Nolan if I say it too loud. She nods once, like she's filing it away. The next morning, sunlight leaks through the blinds in thin stripes and lands across Nolan's face, cutting him into pieces, forehead, cheek, mouth. He looks almost gentle when he sleeps. That's the trap, isn't it? The soft moments that make you question the sharp ones. By noon, he's already dressed, belt threaded, shirt crisp, hair perfect. He stands in the hallway mirror adjusting his tie, practicing the version of himself the world applauds. "Important dinner this Sunday," he says without looking at me. His voice carries that upbeat public tone, even though it's just us and the hum of the refrigerator. "Mom wants everyone there. And," he pauses, savoring it, "I'm bringing someone from work." My stomach drops so fast it feels like the floor tilts. "Someone from work?" I repeat. He finally meets my eyes in the mirror, not directly, through glass, always through something. Not just someone. He smiles, small and smug. A connection. A person who matters, so don't embarrass me. My throat tightens, my tongue sticks for a second like it's afraid to form the wrong sound. "I wouldn't," I say. Nolan's smile fades into that flat line I know too well. "You always say that." He turns, straightening his cuffs. "This time, I mean it. You're going to look presentable." Presentable. The word hits like cold water. I feel it splash down my spine. "I am presentable," I say, and I hate that my voice is already too soft. His eyes flick over me, messy bun, faded leggings, one of Lily's old hoodies with a tiny stain near the pocket. I'm home. I'm comfortable. I'm real. He makes a small sound of disgust. "Not like that," he says. "You're not showing up to my mother's house looking like you crawled out of laundry." My cheeks burn. My chest tightens. I can feel heat rising behind my eyes. Not tears yet, pressure. "Fine," I whisper. He nods like he's just won a negotiation. "Good," he says. "Wear the blue dress, the one that makes you look less tired." Less tired, as if exhaustion is a cosmetic flaw. As if it isn't bone deep. All week, the dinner hangs over me like a storm cloud. I can taste, metallic, electric, inevitable. Nolan brings it up casually while I'm making Lily's lunch, while I'm folding towels, while I'm wiping the counter. "Don't talk too much. Smile. Let me lead. If Paige says something, don't get weird. And for the love of God, don't mention money." Money. I swallow so hard my throat aches. Because the family budget meeting wasn't a suggestion. It's already happening. Nolan moved accounts. He changed passwords. He told me it was for my own good. While my hands went numb holding Lily's report card in the same room. I feel smaller every day, and I hate myself for it. Sunday comes too fast. The morning light is pale and thin, like the day itself is holding its breath. Nolan watches me get ready as if he's judging a performance. I stand in our bedroom with the blue dress zipped up, the fabric a little snug at my ribs because I've been eating around stress instead of through hunger. I brush my hair until my scalp stings, trying to look like a woman who has choices. Nolan circles me slowly, like he's inspecting a purchase. "Lipstick," he says. I don't have any, I reply, and my voice comes out brittle. He exhales dramatically, like my lack of lipstick is the tragedy of his life. Unbelievable, he mutters, digging through the bathroom drawer. He pulls out a tube I didn't even know existed, some shade I bought years ago for a work event. He tosses it at me. It hits my palm hard enough to sting. Put it on, he says. You look washed out. I stare at the tube. My fingers tremble. Not because I'm scared of lipstick, because I'm scared of the way he can make anything feel like a test I'm failing. I put it on anyway, the waxy scent mixing with the toothpaste smell still lingering in the air. My lips feel wrong, too bright, too visible, like I'm trying to be someone else. Nolan steps closer, squints at my face, then shakes his head. Not like that, he says. You always make it messy. Here. He reaches for my chin. My body flinches before my brain can stop it. A quick, involuntary jerk backward. Nolan freezes, eyes narrowing. What was that? He asks, voice low. My heart slams against my ribs. Hard, fast, painful. Nothing, I say too quickly. Cold hands. His gaze holds me like a vice. Then he smiles again. Too smooth. Relax, he says. I'm trying to help you. Help? I feel sick. Behind him, in the doorway, Lily is standing with her backpack on even though it's Sunday. She wears it like armor sometimes. Like being ready to leave is safer than being rooted. She's watching us. Her eyes flick from Nolan's hand near my face to my stiff posture to the lipstick tube clenched in my fingers. Nolan turns and his expression changes instantly. Warm, playful. Hey, Peanut, he says. You ready to be on your best behavior? Lily's mouth tightens. I'm always on my best behavior. Nolan laughs like it's adorable. Good girl. The words scrape my skin. Good girl, like she's a pet, like she's a prop. I catch Lily's gaze for half a second. Something passes between us, silent, heavy, shared. When Nolan leaves the room to grab his coat, Lily steps closer to me. Her small hand touches my wrist. Mom, she whispers. I glance at the hallway. My pulse is loud in my ears. Yeah? She hesitates, then says, very quietly, you don't have to wear that if you don't want to. The simple kindness of it cracks something inside me. It makes my throat burn. It's okay, I whisper back, even though it's not. Lily's eyes search my face like she's looking for the truth under the lipstick. Then Nolan's voice barks from the kitchen. Mara, keys! My muscles tighten automatically. My body moves before my mind decides. I hate that. I hate how trained I am. I step into the kitchen and the air smells like coffee and cold toast. Nolan is by the counter, impatient. He flicks his fingers toward the hook where my keys hang. Hurry up, he says. We're not showing up late like last time. Last time? Like it was my fault the babysitter canceled. Like it was my fault Lily had a fever. Like it was my fault the universe didn't align for his image. I reach for the keys and my elbow bumps a cabinet door. It swings open with a sudden creak. Nolan's head snaps toward the sound. My stomach clenches. He strides over, grabs the cabinet door, and slams it shut. Hard. The bang detonates in the kitchen. I flinch, full body. Shoulders up, breath sucked in. The sound echoes in my skull. Nolan stares at me, eyes cold now, the charm gone like it never existed. Stop acting like that, he says, low enough that Lily in the hallway might not hear. You're going to make people think I'm some kind of monster. Monster. The word makes my skin prickle. I start. He leans in. His breath smells like coffee and mint gum and control. You always do this, he whispers. You make everything dramatic. Fix your face. My mouth goes dry. My hands tingle like they've fallen asleep. I turn my head slightly, trying to angle my expression into something neutral, something safe. My face feels like a mask made of stiff clay. And then Lily is there. She doesn't run in. She walks in, slow, deliberate, like she's stepping into a scene she's been studying. She comes up behind me and wraps her arms around my waist. Tight. Too tight. Her cheek presses into my stomach. I can feel her breath through the fabric of the dress, warm and shaky. Her hug is a shield. Her hug is a statement. Nolan watches her, irritation flickering across his face because he can't be cruel when she's touching me like that. Not openly. Not with witnesses. Lily's lips brush the fabric and she whispers, so quietly I barely hear it. You don't deserve this. My eyes sting. The sting spreads fast, hot behind my eyelids. I bite the inside of my cheek until I taste blood, just to keep myself from making a sound that might give Nolan satisfaction. He exhales through his nose, forced patience. Come on, he says brightly now, voice raised for the hallway. Family time. The drive to Janice's house feels longer than it is. The trees blur by outside the window like smudged charcoal. Lily sits in the back, quiet, her fingers moving over her watch strap, twisting it, tapping it, adjusting it. I keep glancing at the watch like it might glow again. When we arrive, Janice's house looks like it always does. Perfect lawn, perfect wreath, perfect porch lights, perfect lie. Inside, the smells hit me. Roast chicken, garlic, expensive candle wax. Laughter already in motion. Paige's voice too loud, Tate's laugh too easy. Nolan's posture changes as soon as we step in. He becomes the golden boy. The man everyone loves. His shoulders relax, his smile brightens, his voice warms. He kisses his mother's cheek. He claps his father's back. He greets Paige like she's royalty. And me? I'm placed like furniture. Kitchen's that way, Mara, Janice says, smiling. Could you help set the table? You're so good at that. So good at that. My hands move. Plates, forks, napkins. I float through the house like a ghost with chores. But something is different in me today. Maybe it's Lily's hug. Maybe it's the way my own body flinched at that cabinet slam. Maybe it's the fact that I can't stop thinking about Westbridge and what Lily asked in the dark. I keep feeling like there's a door in my mind that's been cracked open, letting in cold air. While everyone is in the living room, I slip down the hallway to the small guest room that Janice calls her office. It's where she keeps extra paper goods and old photo albums. The door sticks a little when I push it. The room smells like dust and lavender sachets. I shut the door behind me and stand there, heart pounding, hands shaking. Not with fear this time, with something else. With an ache that feels like grief. There's a desk in the corner. On it, a stack of old magazines and a vase of fake flowers. I sit down and pull my phone out. My fingers move like they're acting on their own. I open my email. I search, resume. The file pops up instantly, like it's been waiting. My resume, the one I haven't looked at in years. My hands tremble so hard I almost drop the phone. My vision blurs, not from tears yet, but from the sudden rush of remembering. My name at the top, my old job title, my skills, my achievements. It's like seeing a photo of a person who died. I swallow and my throat burns. I tap the file open, lines of text, bullet points, dates. A life I had. A life I could have again. My chest tightens until it hurts. My breath comes shallow, quick. My fingers hover over the screen like they're afraid of the weight of one simple action. Save, update, send. I don't do any of it yet. I just stare, shaking, and let the grief wash over me like cold water. Because I miss myself. I miss the version of me that didn't measure every word for survival. A soft knock makes me jolt. I slam my phone face down on the desk like I'm hiding contraband. Mara, Lily's voice. I cross the room and open the door a crack. Lily slips inside, small and quick. Her eyes go to the desk, to my phone, to my face. She doesn't ask what I'm doing. She already knows. Lily closes the door behind her. The click is quiet, final. Then she reaches into her backpack and pulls out a small notebook. My stomach flips. What's that? I whisper. Lily looks down at it like it's heavy. My notes, she says. Notes? My voice comes out thin. She opens the notebook. My breath catches. Dates, times, short lines in neat handwriting. Dad said, "You're too sensitive." Grandma said, "Be grateful." Uncle Tate joked, "Babysitter with a ring." Dad told Mom, "Fix your face." My skin goes cold. My fingers go numb. Lily. My throat tightens so hard it feels like it might close. Why are you writing this down? Her eyes lift to mine. Old eyes, steady, determined. Because you forget, she says simply. And then you think it wasn't that bad. The words hit me like a slap I didn't see coming. I open my mouth. Nothing comes out. Lily's voice stays quiet, but there's steel under it. If adults won't tell the truth, she says, kids have to. My stomach twists. No, I whisper, panic rising now, sharp and hot. No, Lily, you can't. This is too much for you. She steps closer. Her hand finds mine. Small fingers, warm, certain. It's already too much, she whispers back. I'm already in it. I just want it to stop. Tears finally spill. Silent, hot. They slide down under the lipstick, and I hate that Nolan was right about one thing. I look messy. I wipe at my face with the back of my hand, smearing a little red onto my skin like evidence. Lily watches me, then lifts her wrist. Her watch. She taps the screen and turns it toward me. A contact card fills the tiny display. Dad's boss, HR. My breath catches so hard it hurts. I stare at the words until they blur. Lily's voice is barely a thread. I saved it, she says, just in case. The room feels like it tilts again, like gravity changes. My daughter, my 10-year-old, has been building a rope ladder out of notes and names and small, brave choices. And I realize, with a sudden, nauseating clarity, that the Sunday lunch from earlier wasn't an accident. It was the moment her plan finally reached the edge. And she's been standing there, waiting, long before I was. Lily's watch screen goes dark again, but the words stay lit behind my eyes. Dad's boss, HR. My fingers are still shaking when I close her little notebook. The paper smells like school, pencil lead and cheap glue, and it feels wrong that something so innocent is holding so much weight. Lily, I whisper, because my voice is all I have in that moment. You can't carry this alone. Her chin lifts, not defiant, determined. Like she's chosen her side and it's already decided. I'm not alone, she says. I'm with you. That hits me harder than anything Nolan has ever said, because Nolan's words always take. Lily's words give. They give me back a piece of myself I forgot existed. I take a breath, and it scrapes on the way in. The air in this little room tastes like dust and lavender and fear. Okay, I say. The word is small, but it lands in me like a stone dropped into water. Ripples, direction. We do this carefully. Lily nods like she's been waiting for me to catch up. We don't call anyone that day. Not yet. Because I know Nolan. Nolan doesn't need proof to punish. He needs a feeling, a vibe, a suspicion. So we make rules, right there in Janice's quiet office, while laughter floats down the hallway like a cruel soundtrack. Rule 1. No lies. No traps made of fiction. No dramatic scenes that can be twisted into me being unstable. Just the truth. Clean, sharp, undeniable. Rule 2. Witnesses. Not, he said, she said. Not my shaking voice against his calm smile. Witnesses who can say, I heard it. I saw it. He said that in front of everyone. Rule 3. Safety. Quiet steps, slow steps. An exit path that doesn't rely on Nolan's mood. Because moods change. Locks don't. I can feel Lily's eyes on my face, like she's trying to read if I mean it. If I'll follow through. If I'll fold like I always do. My throat tightens with shame. I hate that my child has had to become my mirror. I hate that she's learned strategy the way other kids learn piano. Still, I ask, how did you even get that contact? Lily looks down at her watch like it's just a watch, like it isn't a tiny grenade. Dad talks, she says. He always talks. I almost laugh. It wants to come out. It doesn't. It turns into a sharp breath through my nose instead, because she's right. Nolan talks about himself like it's a hobby. Lily's voice stays steady, low. He said har when he was mad at someone, she continues. He said Dana from HR is a pain, and then he said, but she's scared of my mentor. So I looked up what HR is, at school. My stomach flips. She did it at school. Quiet, safe, away from Nolan's eyes. Lily reaches into her backpack again and pulls out a folded worksheet. On the back, scribbled in pencil, are words and arrows. A little map. Dad works at Westbridge, she whispers. He said the CEO is on the website, and the HR person is on the website. I use the school tablet. The teacher lets us look up companies for Career Week. Career Week? My chest aches. There's something so heartbreaking about the innocence of that. Kids dreaming about the future while my daughter is using the same tools to survive the present. And the phone number? I ask because I need to understand the shape of what she's built. Lily's mouth twitches, almost proud, almost sad. He left a business card on the counter, she says. The one he uses when he wants to look important. I wrote it down, the main office number. Then I saved it in my watch as a contact. My skin goes cold. Nolan's ego, his props, his little symbols of status, turned into a rope for us to climb out. I close my eyes for a second, and my heartbeat feels loud enough to shake the walls. When I open them, I see Lily watching me like she's waiting for permission to keep going. I swallow. It feels like swallowing nails. Listen, I whisper. If we do this, we do it in a way that doesn't get you in trouble. Do you understand? Lily nods. I only record what he says when everyone's around. A pause. And I stop if you say stop, she adds. And the fact that she even thinks to give me control makes my throat burn. I reach out and touch her cheek with my fingertips. Her skin is warm, real, alive. I'm sorry, I whisper. She leans into my hand like she's been holding her breath for years. Don't be sorry, she whispers back. Just don't go back to pretending. I nod because if I speak, I'll break. That night at home, I move like a thief in my own life. When Nolan is in the shower, I take my phone into the laundry room and lock the door. The click sounds too loud in my ears. My hands fumble with the screen. I make a new email account, a clean slate, no shared passwords, no family profile Nolan can check with a smirk. My fingers feel clumsy, like I forgot how to be a person with secrets. Like I forgot I'm allowed to have a corner of my life that isn't his. I send myself my resume. The old file opens like a ghost again. My name at the top feels like a dare. I update one line. Just one. It's small. It's nothing. It's everything. The next day I make a call while Lily's at school and Nolan's at work. My voice shakes when someone answers. I grip the kitchen counter so hard my knuckles ache. A family counselor, a community clinic, a place that uses words like support and resources and safety planning without making me feel stupid for needing them. I schedule a consultation. I hang up and sit on the floor with my back against the cabinets, breathing like I've run miles. My pulse is in my wrists, my throat, my eyelids. Then I delete the call log. My hands shake while I do it, because the fear is still there. Fear that Nolan will find out. Fear that I'm building something that will make him angry. But under the fear, something else starts to wake up. Anger. Not the explosive kind, the clean kind, the kind that says no. Over the next week, Nolan becomes sweet. Not truly sweet. Staged sweet. He brings home flowers one night, cheap ones from the grocery store. He sets them on the counter like a trophy. Thought you'd like these, he says, watching my face like he's measuring whether the performance lands. I say, thank you, because it's safer than asking why now. He offers to pick Lily up from school. He makes a big show of it, telling her loudly, Dad's got you, kiddo. He ruffles her hair like he's a sitcom father. I watch Lily's shoulders stiffen under his hand. I watch her smile politely, the way she's learned. Later, when Nolan isn't looking, Lily meets my eyes and gives the smallest shake of her head. Don't fall for it. The sweetness confuses me anyway. It always has. It's the part that makes you doubt your own memory. The part that makes you think, maybe I'm the problem. The part that makes you stay. But Lily's notebook exists now. Lily's notes exist. My resume exists. The counseling appointment exists. I can't unsee what's been written down. I can't unknow what my daughter knows. 2 days before the next family lunch, Nolan announces it at the dinner table like he's giving us a gift. Big Sunday, he says, cutting into his chicken with unnecessary force. I'm bringing my mentor. My stomach tightens. Your mentor? I keep my voice light because my body has learned that lightness is armor. Yeah, he says. He pauses, pleased with himself. Impressive. Very connected. I want my family to meet her. Status points. He doesn't say it, but I hear it. He wants to parade her around like proof that he's important enough to be mentored by someone powerful. He wants his mother to beam, his sister to envy, his brother to clap him on the back. And he wants me quiet, presentable, grateful. You'll behave, he adds, eyes on me now. The fork in his hand points slightly, like a warning disguised as a utensil. No weird comments, no sulking. This is for my career. For his career. Like my life is just the waiting room outside his. I nod. My skin feels tight. That night, I text my friend Sam. Sam is the kind of friend I almost lost because Nolan made it hard to keep friends. He'd complain if I went out. He'd say Sam was a bad influence. He'd sigh and ask who would watch Lily, as if he was incapable of parenting his own child. But Sam stuck around anyway. She'd send memes. She'd drop off soup when Lily was sick. She'd look at my face sometimes like she was seeing bruises I didn't have to show. My fingers hover over the screen. My stomach flips. I can almost feel Nolan's eyes on me even when he isn't in the room. I type, "Are you free Sunday? Can you come by Janice's late? I need you close." My thumb trembles over send. Then I press it. The message whooshes away. A minute later, 3 dots appear. Sam replies, "Yes, tell me what time. I'm with you." I exhale, and it shakes. Sunday morning arrives like a held breath finally breaking. Nolan is in a strangely good mood. He hums while he showers. He tells Lily to be polite. He tells me, "You look good." And it feels like he's complimenting a chair he decided to keep. I keep my movements calm. I keep my face neutral. My body is buzzing under the surface like a wire. Lily moves quietly through the house, her backpack on even though it's Sunday. Her watch is on her wrist. Her notebook is tucked inside the backpack. I know it is. I'm rinsing a travel mug when Nolan walks into the kitchen and stops. Lily's watch is on the counter, charging. The screen is lit. My blood turns to ice so fast it feels like my veins constrict. Nolan picks it up between 2 fingers like it's dirty, like it's suspicious, like it's already guilty. His eyes narrow at the watch face, then he looks at Lily. "Why is it always recording?" he asks, voice too casual. Too casual is worse than anger. Too casual means he's hiding the anger for later. Lily doesn't move. She doesn't flinch. I feel my heart slam once, hard. My mouth goes dry. And I realize we are standing on the edge of the thing we built. A plan made of truth and quiet steps and witnesses. And Nolan just put his hand on it. Nolan holds Lily's watch like it's evidence, like it's proof she's done something wrong. My pulse is a drumbeat in my throat. I can feel it thud against my tongue every time I swallow. The kitchen smells like coffee and dish soap and the faint metallic tang of my own fear. Lily looks up at him, calm, unnerving calm. "It's not," she says, and her voice barely rises above the hum of the fridge. "Not what?" Nolan's smile is there, but it's stretched thin. He turns the watch in his fingers, squinting at the screen. "Not recording?" Lily lifts one shoulder in a tiny shrug. "It's a watch." I want to scream. I want to grab her. I want to pull the whole moment backward and hide it under the rug with all the other moments. But Lily's face stays smooth, controlled. Nolan's eyes flick to me. A silent warning. A demand. Say something. Fix it. Control her. My mouth opens. Nothing comes out, because something is happening inside me that I can't stop anymore. Something like a door unlocking. Something like the first inhale after being underwater too long. Nolan sets the watch back on the counter, not gently, not hard, just exact. Like he's placing a threat down where we can see it. "Get your things," he says, bright voice now, for the house. "We're late." Late. Always late to his own performance. In the car, Lily sits behind him, hands folded in her lap. She's so still it makes my skin itch. I keep staring at her in the rearview mirror, searching her face for cracks. I find none. Nolan drives with one hand, the other tapping on the steering wheel. Tap, tap, tap. The rhythm of impatience. The rhythm of a man who thinks time belongs to him. Remember, he says as we pull into Janice's driveway, today is important. The driveway gravel crunches. The porch light glows even though it's daytime, because Janice likes the illusion of warmth. Nolan kills the engine and turns his head toward me, smile perfectly placed. I don't want any weird energy, he says softly. Not with my mentor there. My stomach twists. Weird energy. That's what he calls my humanity. I'll be fine, I whisper. He pats my knee once, possessive, casual. Like he owns the right to touch me and the right to judge what I deserve. We walk into the house and the sound hits us. Laughter, clinking glass, Paige's voice too loud, Tate's booming chuckle. The air smells like roast chicken and expensive candles, trying to cover up the fact that people are here to feast. Janice swoops in, lipstick perfect, pearls shining. Oh, she sings. There they are. Nolan, sweetheart, your mentor's already here. Mentor. The word lands like a stone in my gut. Nolan's posture changes instantly, shoulders back, smile bright, hands open, golden boy mode. He leads us into the dining room like he's introducing a show. And there she is. A woman in a charcoal blazer, hair pulled back, eyes sharp and calm. Not warm, not cruel, just awake. The kind of awake that makes liars uncomfortable. Nolan beams. Dana, he says, too friendly. So glad you could make it. Dana. The HR name Lily whispered in the dark. My breath catches so hard it hurts my chest. Lily's fingers brush mine. A tiny warning, a tiny anchor. Dana shakes Nolan's hand with a firm grip. Then her eyes slide to me and Lily. Not dismissive, not fawning, just assessing. Mara, Nolan says, turning to me like I'm an accessory he's showing off. This is Dana. She's basically the reason I'm moving up so fast. Dana's mouth tightens slightly. Nice to meet you, she says to me. My voice comes out thin. You too. Lily pipes up, polite. Hi. Dana looks at Lily. A flicker of something softens her eyes for half a second. Hi, Lily. Then Janice ushers everyone to sit because a table is where she feels in control. I take my usual place, slightly off-center, not too visible. The seat where I can stand up quickly to fetch things. Nolan sits like a king. Tate to one side, Paige to the other, Janice across from me, Rick at the head. Dana sits near Nolan, of course. Close enough to be his trophy. Close enough to see him clearly. My hands are cold around my water glass. The surface is slick with condensation. I rub my thumb over the wet ring it leaves on the table, tracing circles like I can erase myself. Dinner starts the way it always does. Compliments for Nolan, admiration poured like gravy. Nolan's always been exceptional, Janice says, smiling at Dana. So driven. Dana nods, neutral. Paige launches into her promotion talk because she can't help herself. They're putting me on a new project. High visibility, high stakes. You know how it is. Nolan chuckles. Some people thrive in high stakes. His eyes flick to me. A spotlight. Others, he adds, voice light, prefer simpler roles. My stomach clenches. I keep my face smooth. I keep the practice smile on my lips. Dana glances at him. Just a glance. Nolan keeps going because he's confident. Because he thinks the room belongs to him. So, he says, cutting into his chicken, Mara's been talking about going back to work. My fork pauses halfway to my mouth. I didn't say that. I didn't say anything. Nolan continues like he's telling a cute story. But honestly, I don't know if she could handle a real job now. It's been so long. Tate laughs. Paige smirks. Janice makes a small sympathetic sound like I'm a child who tried to play grown-up. Heat floods my face. My throat tightens. I taste metal again. Dana doesn't laugh. She chews slowly, eyes on Nolan, like she's listening for something underneath the words. Nolan's smile widens. He likes attention. He confuses silence for approval. It's fine, he adds, waving his fork. Not everyone's ambitious. Some people are better at supporting roles. Supporting roles. My fingers dig into my napkin under the table until the cloth twists tight. My knuckles ache. Janice leans in, eyes bright. And really, Mara should be grateful. Nolan provides such a beautiful life. Some women would kill for this. My stomach rolls at the phrase, even softened by Janice's tone. I swallow hard. Nolan laughs. Exactly. Then he looks at Dana like he's offering her a punchline he expects her to enjoy. You know, he says, voice playful. Sometimes I think Mara's dead weight, but she's pretty, so it keeps the peace. The laugh that follows is automatic. Trained, like a reflex in that house. Tate barks out a chuckle. Paige snorts. Janice smiles wide. Rick stays quiet, but he doesn't stop it. My vision sharpens at the edges. The room goes slightly distant, like my ears are filling with water. Dead weight. It sits on my chest like a hand. I can't breathe properly. I look down at my plate because if I look up, I might fall apart in front of them. In front of Dana. In front of Lily. Then I hear it. The scrape of Lily's chair. Slow, deliberate. My heart stops. I look up. Lily stands. She doesn't slam her hands on the table. She doesn't cry. She doesn't scream. She just stands there, small and straight-backed, her face calm in a way that makes the room falter. Nolan turns to her, still smiling, still confident. What is it, Peanut? He asks, like she's about to ask for more juice. Lily's eyes lock on his. Her voice is quiet, clear. 5 words, delivered like a verdict. I already called your boss. For a second, nobody moves. It's like the air itself freezes. Forks hover in midair. A cube of ice clinks softly against the inside of a glass like it didn't get the memo to stop breathing. Somewhere in the kitchen, the refrigerator hum suddenly sounds loud enough to be a siren. Nolan's smile glitches. Just a fraction. A tiny twitch in the corner of his mouth. Then he laughs, too fast, too bright. Kids say crazy things, he says, waving his hand like he can brush this away. She's got an imagination. But his eyes dart, once to Dana, once to me, once to Lily's watch. Panic flashes behind the shine. Dana sets her fork down, carefully, like she doesn't want to make a sound that can be misinterpreted. Her gaze stays on Lily. You called my office? She asks, voice even. Lily doesn't flinch. Yes. Nolan jumps in. Dana, come on. She's 10. She probably dialed something by accident. Lily, sweetheart, that's not funny. Lily's mouth tightens. It wasn't an accident. Silence again. Thicker this time. Then Lily's watch vibrates. A soft buzz. The sound slices through the room. Lily looks down at her wrist. Her thumb taps the screen. Dana's phone vibrates at the same moment, on the table beside her plate. Dana's eyes flick to it. Her expression changes, not dramatic, not angry, just professional. She stands. Excuse me, she says, and steps into the hallway to answer. Nolan's face drains of color in slow motion. He tries to smile, but it looks like pain. Janice leans forward, hissing, Nolan, what is this? It's nothing, he says too quickly. She's... Paige whispers, did she actually call your work? Tate's laugh is gone now. His eyes are wide. What did you do, Nolan? I sit there, hands shaking under the table, and realize something. They've never seen him without his armor. Not really. Dana returns a minute later, phone in her hand. Her face is composed, but her eyes are sharper now. Colder. She doesn't sit. Nolan, she says, and his name sounds different in her mouth. Not affectionate, not proud. We need to talk, today. Nolan laughs again, but it cracks. Dana, seriously? This is family stuff. It's just jokes. You know how it is. Dana's gaze doesn't move. Conduct outside the workplace still matters when it reflects company values. The room goes silent like someone turned off the sound. Nolan's throat bobs. What conduct? Dana looks around the table once, taking in Janice's smile that's now trembling, Paige's frozen face, Tate's clenched jaw, Rick's tight lips. Then Dana looks back at Nolan. I received a call from your child, she says evenly, and I was provided documentation, witnesses, dates, patterned behavior that is inconsistent with our standards. Nolan's mouth opens, closes. His hands grip his fork so hard his knuckles whiten. Janice's voice comes out thin. This is absurd. She's dramatic. Dana cuts her off without raising her voice. This isn't about her. It's about him. The words land heavy, final, like a door shutting. Nolan tries to stand taller, but he can't. His body betrays him. His face is sweat-sheened now, the charm sliding off. Dana continues, calm as a scalpel. We will be meeting this afternoon. You will bring your company device, and you will not contact anyone from this room about this conversation before we meet. Nolan swallows, hard. Dana! Dana's eyes don't soften. Today. Then she turns, briefly, to me. Mara, if you'd like, I can share resources through our employee assistance program, even if you are not the employee. My throat closes. I can't speak. I can only nod once. Tiny. Lily sits back down slowly, like her legs finally remembered their legs. Her hand finds mine under the table. Warm. Solid. Across from us, Janice looks like someone slapped her with truth. Paige's lips are parted, stunned. Tate stares at Nolan with something like disgust. Nolan's family, his loyal audience, doesn't look at him like a hero anymore. They look at him like a liability. The lunch ends in a blur. People stand too quickly, chairs scrape, plates clatter as hands fumble. No one laughs. No one makes eye contact. Nolan tries to keep control. Let's not overreact. But his voice is too thin now. It doesn't hold weight. In the hallway, as we put on coats, Sam appears at the door like she was summoned by my pulse. She slips in, eyes scanning my face, then Lily's, then Nolan's stiff posture. She doesn't speak. She doesn't need to. Her hand presses something into mine, a manila envelope. Thick. Heavy. Paper edges bite lightly into my palm. I glance down, printed pages inside. My updated resume on top. Clean, formatted, my name bold at the top like it belongs there. Behind it, apartment listings with circles around addresses, notes in Sam's handwriting. Near school, safe neighborhood, month-to-month option. My chest caves in. Sam's voice is low, only for me. I started looking when you texted. She whispers. You don't have to figure it out alone. My eyes sting. Hot, fast. I nod because if I speak, I'll fall apart in the doorway of this house that has never been mine. We leave. Outside, the winter air hits my lungs like a slap. The sky is still gray, but it feels wider now. Like there's room to breathe. Nolan's steps are fast, angry. He walks ahead to the car like he needs to outrun the shame. I buckle Lily in first. My hands are shaking so badly I fumble with the latch. Lily's fingers close around mine, steadying me. It's okay, she whispers. No, it's not okay. But it's real. Nolan drives home in silence. His knuckles are white around the steering wheel. His jaw clenched so hard I can see the muscle jump. At home, the moment the front door shuts, the mask drops. Nolan rounds on Lily first, then me, eyes blazing. What did you do? He hisses. Lily stands in the entryway, backpack still on, like she never stopped being ready to leave. She doesn't cry. She doesn't run. She just looks at him. Nolan's voice drops lower, more venomous, aimed at me now. You just ruined me. The words are meant to crush, to make me apologize, to make me scramble and beg to fix it. For a second, my body tries to obey the old script. My stomach tightens, my shoulders lift, my throat closes. Then Lily speaks. 5 words did one thing at the table, now her next words do something else. No, she says, calm as ever. You did. And in that moment, I understand it so clearly it makes me dizzy. My daughter didn't betray her father. She protected her mother. She protected me. And for the first time in a long time, my fear isn't the loudest thing inside my chest. My fear is there, yes, curling and shaking and whispering about consequences. But something else is louder now. Relief. Not soft relief. Relief that feels like a chain snapping. The first night in the new place, the quiet feels wrong. No footsteps pacing the hall, no voice calling my name like a hook, no tension hiding in the corners of the ceiling. Just the soft hum of an old air conditioner and Lily's breathing from the mattress on the floor beside mine. Slow, even. Finally deep enough to make my chest loosen. I lie awake anyway, staring at the faint streetlight glow spilling through cheap blinds, and I wait for the familiar dread to crawl back into my throat. It doesn't. Not the same way. Because there's a different kind of ache now, one that hurts like healing. The next week's move in pieces, paperwork, appointments, emails sent from my new account with my own name in the signature, like a small rebellion every time I hit send. I take a part-time training course that makes my brain feel awake again. And on the first day, I sit in a classroom with a notebook open and my pen shaking, not from fear, but from the strange grief of remembering I can still learn. Lily meets with the school counselor. She calls it a feelings group, like it's no big deal, but the first afternoon she comes home quieter than usual. She crawls onto the couch beside me and rests her head on my shoulder. I told them I don't like secrets, she whispers. My throat burns. Me neither, I whisper back. Nolan's name becomes something we only say when we have to. There's an investigation at his job, meetings, standards, conduct. He's required to attend counseling if he wants to keep his role. He texts me once, long paragraphs, half apology, half accusation, and my fingers hover over the screen before I lock the phone and set it face down like I'm putting a lid on poison. At the next family event, months later, when I have to drop off a form and Lily insists on coming with me, Janice's laugh is gone. Her eyes slide away from mine like the truth is too bright to stare at. Paige's voice stays polite, careful. Tate won't meet Lily's gaze at all. They laugh the loudest. Now they don't laugh. Because truth has a sound, and once you hear it, you can't pretend it was a joke. Sometimes I replay that moment in my head, my daughter standing up, small hands steady, a voice calm enough to cut through a room full of grown-ups. Sometimes the biggest change really does start with the smallest voice in the room. So, what would you have said if you were sitting at that table? And if you want more stories where the person they underestimated kept the receipts, stay close, like, subscribe, and meet me in the next one.